Hello. So my name's Dan, and I'm a photographer, and this is David Turney. And I've put that up there to give you a little bit of backstory of how I became a photographer. I used to really like photography, but more than that, I really wanted to be the next him. So instead of doing photography at university, I did environmental biology. And then as soon as I got there, I kind of realised that it wasn't quite as exciting as I thought it was going to be. There was a lot more statistics, a lot more maths, and I think it was when I realised that my dissertation was about how wood lice excrete urine as a gas to save water, but it might not be the rock and roll lifestyle that I was kind of looking for. So at that point, I decided to start teaching myself photography, and I started photographing my friends around me as practice, and my friends at the time were in a band, and so that's been the basis for me learning photography, and I think that's why I've always hovered around music photography. I do lots of different types of photography, but I've always been involved in it. And so I do press shoots for lots of different record labels. I've collaborated with some amazing artists, which is really fun. And I've done lots of shoots for artwork. This thing isn't quite working. And I really enjoyed that. And like I said, we did Suck Magazine and Rebel Music Academy. But the thing I realised a few years ago was that a lot of editorial shoots or artwork shoots are quite brief. Even if you're, say, collaborating on artwork, like with James Blake, you do 3 or 4 days, but I quite like spending a lot of time with a person so you can really collaborate. And so I started to get the idea in my head that I wanted to work with a band for a long period of time. And so I started looking for a band that, like an up-and-coming band, that I could work with. I've got way too many pictures of other stuff that I've taken pictures of. And so in 2012, I met, it's gone in the wrong order. Well, I met these boys who are called The Bots, and they're from Glendale, California. And the guy on the left is Micaiah, and the guy on the right is Anaya, and they're 2 brothers. And I think at the time Micaiah was 19 and Anaya was 15. And I listened to their music, I really liked their music. And then when they walked into my studio, I realised that they were the band that I'd sort of been waiting for. They're super fun, really chilled, really unassuming, really funny. They're a bunch of teenagers skateboarding and bouncing off the walls. And Anaya's got massive hair and braces and knee-high socks. So as soon as they walked in, I wanted to work with them. And at the time, they were over from LA for like a couple of months in London. And it was around the time, it was like 2 months before the Olympics. And so I'd come up with a master plan. I'd actually rented an extra house. So I was going to rent it out to some sort of rich, plump Americans to make loads of money. But that didn't really work, so I couldn't find any. So I rented it to them instead and made a massive loss. But it was kind of cool because they were in a house around the corner from me, so we were just hanging out. And I didn't have a specific idea to produce a photography zine or anything like that, but I just wanted to photograph them a lot. And so anyway, it turned into Stop It, which is a photography zine that I made with them. They like write their name backwards for some reason, because it looks cool, but it confuses everyone. So that's why the zine was called Stop It. But at the time, I'm getting ahead of myself, at the time I didn't really think it was going to be a zine. We just talked about going on tour. And so they had a little European tour, and so I went off with them in a little van. And this is in Belgium, I think. And we've been driving along and I spotted this meadow that I really liked. And so I told them to get out the van and go and stand in the meadow and eat an ice cream, I think. But that picture was a bit rubbish. But then on the way back, I was like, Micaiah, skip like an idiot. And he did that, it looks really cool. So I quite like to collaborate and sort of instigate little things that happen. So it sort of seems candid, but it's got a little bit of structure behind it. Basically, we were driving around Europe for 9 days in that tiny van. There was 7 of us, I think, in total. There's the 2 of them, me, drum tech, the driver. My brain's gone dead. But the main other one was their manager, who's also their mum, which is quite an interesting decision to make when you're going on tour in a small van. So there was lots of family politics and arguments, which was quite amusing. And there was lots of sitting in a van playing GTA and eating biscuits, and there was lots of tie-dye, because they really, really like tie-dye. And so that became a sort of theme of the zine. This is when they tie-dyed my shoes for me. And this is, no, okay. Oh no, that's when they tie-dyed one of my t-shirts for me. And yeah, and then this is when they really went overboard, and I thought he'd broken his arm, and all the tie-dye started to clash. But so the tie-dye started to be a theme that I wanted to, when I realised that I wanted to make it into a zine, that I wanted to incorporate into the packaging. And then there were other things that I would set up. I mean, he's a 15-year-old kid, so he's always on Facebook. So I would like sort of set up little things like this, and also me and the mama would kind of clash sometimes, and she had this little replica of her dog who she missed, and so she was really cared about it a lot, and we'd have an argument because she could be a bit of a dick, and I'm much taller than her, so I could put it in trees that she couldn't reach, and then I'd go and take a picture, and then I would really like it. So there's a sort of theme of me torturing a sort of stuffed dog throughout the whole zine as well, which was fun. And then I also made them swim a lot. This is the one on the left, is when we were in Vienna and they played a gig. And we got a little bit drunk afterwards. I was like, Mikhail, we should jump in the river, it'd be really cool, we'll take a picture of you jumping in the river. So I persuaded him to jump off this bridge with me. And then when we got in the water, he actually told me at that point he couldn't really swim very well. And then he wanted to do it again and again and again. And at the time I had a broken finger, and so that hurt quite a lot. And so then I'd make him swim sort of, and he'd give an opportunity after that. So that's one other thing that's in it. And then the other one is we were in Stuttgart, and we got there really early, I think. And I just looked up things to do in Stuttgart, and I found the Schwein Museum, which is the world's biggest pig museum. It is the world's premier pig museum, and it has 38,000 pig artifacts, and some really bemused German tourists with an eye in the background. And so, for me, it was amazing, because that's like, they have like a bank vault put into the museum and filled it full of piggy banks. So for me, this is much more interesting than like photographing. I don't want to photograph them playing a gig, because like, I don't really find that interesting, but put them in a bank vault full of piggy banks. It's much better. Yeah, and there was a BDSM floor in it, which was really weird. With a woman breastfeeding some piglets, and Anaya, he's 15, so he was just like, whoa. And then this is my favourite, which is Pig Lemmings with Jesus, which is wicked. But anyway, so that all sort of formed together into a kind of narrative of some format. This thing doesn't really work. Oh, there we go. So anyway, when we came back, sorry. That one, yeah. When we came back, we still hadn't really got the idea of making it into a zine, but I definitely wanted to print something. And so by this point, they were living in Dartford, and we had these meetings, Skype meetings, and so this is my favourite one. It's Sanaya at the bottom right. And I was also watching American football, because I'm quite a big American football fan, and we were also watching Felix Baumgartner jump out of a space balloon, and then I've got my Domino's Pizza delivery tracker. That was a good day. And then we came up with the idea of like incorporating tie-dye packaging into it somehow. And so I found some Russian ladies who were amazing and sewed these bags together, and then we tie-dyed them. Go to the next one.
Dan Wilton.
You know.
The ocean blue and the red kind of form a violet.
Oi!
Don't hate, just appreciate. Hello, mate. My name is Dan Wilton.
And so then that's the final product after that. That film kind of gives the impression they tied out everything. They actually did everything. I tied out all of it. They did a tiny little bit and then went skateboarding. But this is the final thing. And the Church of London helped me design it. And they're amazing. And I just really liked the way it's not just that the tie-dye packaging really fits with the whole kind of design and makes it a bit more of a tangible finished product. And there's just a few pictures of it. Can we go to the next one? Yeah. And so we got, I think Anaya wrote the dates of the tour on the back of like a hotel receipt or something. And there's lots of meat running through it as well, which I quite like, because neither of them eat meat. And also there's a pink page that runs through it, so we wanted to reference pigs throughout all of it. So a lot of the tie-dye is pink. There's a pink page that runs symmetrically through it, and it's not saddle stitched, it's centre sewn with pink thread. So the design's really nice. And then we had a little launch party, which is when I thought everyone would finally figure out that Stop It is the box backwards, because the vinyl, you could see from the inside, and it sort of said the box, but no one understood it at all. He didn't understand it. And then from that, it sort of led to more collaboration with them. So I got to model a shoot I did for Lazy Oaf recently. And it's just really nice because it just keeps on going. And they were super stoked to get paid to wear clothes. They didn't really understand the concept, but they liked it. And then I'm doing another zine with Stevie G, collaboration with him. When they were last over, I took them to Thorpe Park and put them on roller coasters. And Stevie G's going to draw stuff over the top. And yeah, so it just keeps going. And that's kind of it. Thanks.